As empaths, we naturally absorb the emotions of others, which can be both a gift and a challenge. So whether you're dealing with coworker dynamics in the workplace or managing customer relationships as a business owner, you might find yourself feeling overwhelmed, emotionally drained, or even questioning your worth. This is especially true when self-doubt and imposter syndrome kick in. In this video, I'm going to show you how to protect your energy during those interactions so you can feel more confident and empowered at work, whether you're in a corporate environment or running your own business. You'll learn practical strategies to set boundaries, reduce emotional overwhelm, and build your confidence. So we're gonna kick self-doubt and imposter syndrome to the curb. Protecting your energy starts well before the interaction even begins. So whether it's a conversation with a coworker, a team meeting, or an interaction with a customer, take a few moments to set the tone for the exchange. Because a lot of times, and you know this, people will mirror how you come into a conversation. So if you're holding on to any crazy energy and you know a conversation is coming, we want to find a quiet space to regroup if you can. You can close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and I know this is a little woo-woo, but picture yourself surrounded by like this protective bubble of light. And imagine that this bubble is just radiating only positive stuff outwards and blocking anything that is not that. We're going to take control of our energy before the interaction begins. Now, sometimes we're not going to have that luxury, right, of preparing ahead of time. Someone comes around the corner to talk to us, but we can still pause and ground ourselves. And I want you to remind yourself, I control my energy and I will not take on what isn't mine. And take that pause as often as you need during the conversation. So if things get a little crazy, just pause before you respond to give yourself that space and that reminder. The next thing we can do is use very intentional language to guide the conversation. So whether you're dealing with a difficult coworker or a demanding customer, we want to keep that conversation focused. As an empath, you're often going to feel that need to solve a problem, right? So people are going to talk about things that have nothing to do with the conversation, and your emotions and your energy is going to go every which way. But it's important to remember that not every issue is yours to fix, and we want to stay focused. So for example, if someone starts venting about something unrelated to the work, we can try to steer them back by saying, oh my gosh, I totally get how challenging that is, but let's focus on how I can help with this specific project. Or maybe you suggest that you grab coffee sometime to chat about those things in greater detail. So we're not trying to shut them off, but we want to steer them to the more productive topic at hand. This is going to help keep some of the emotions out of it. It's going to keep our energy more centered and bring things back to that more productive conversation. If you find yourself in a situation where expectations are unclear or maybe a little overwhelming, be sure to ask clarifying questions like, what's the top priority for this project? Or what's one outcome you'd like to achieve in today's meeting? Something, again, to really focus it in, but it also gives you some power back in the conversation, right? Like, we're steering this. So we want to just stay really focused on actionable solutions, not the emotions behind them. So when things go off track, we just got to reel it back in. Now, even with the best intentions, some interactions are going to go off the rails, and you're going to feel some kind of way about that. So we want to have a little energy reset after those meetings, those conversations, especially the more difficult ones. So a few ideas for that. You could take a short walk. You could do a little stretch at your desk. Maybe something really positive to shift the energy, like taking yourself for a little coffee break. You could spend a few minutes with some deep breathing at your desk just to kind of calm your nervous system. These resets are going to help you release anything that isn't yours. So whatever you choose, just make the intention of it to get refocused and reclaim your calm. And then bigger picture, it's really important to regularly assess your relationships to make sure there's that healthy balance there, because we don't always want to be on that energy defense, right? So ask yourself, do I feel energized or drained after interacting with this person? Like, what's the sum of my interactions with them? Are they respecting my boundaries? Or do I feel like I'm constantly overextending or shifting myself to to accommodate them? Is this relationship aligned with my values and the type of work I want to do? Because it's not like we're a victim to other people's energy all the time. Sometimes we're just hanging out in spaces, whether that's a workplace, a social group, whatever, that aren't a good match for us. So we want to check in. And if you notice a pattern of feeling drained, it's time to either reset expectations or reevaluate the relationship. And if we're talking about coworkers, reevaluating a relationship ultimately means reevaluating the workplace, right? So we need to continually do that, check in every couple of months just to see where you're at. We don't want a negative relationship to ultimately ruin other opportunities for growth. So an example from my own life, in addition to working with my coaching clients and doing these kinds of things on YouTube, I also work on retainer for a marketing agency. I used to be very full-time, but it really wasn't a good match for my energy in those times. I had great coworkers, great clients, but the demands of the position were really hindering me in a lot of areas of my life and creating a lot of unnecessary stress. So I stepped back quite a bit into a very part-time role and recently stepped back in. But now my energy is different. Like, I'm very clear on what does and doesn't work for me, but I've also made that very clear to everyone in that workplace. So the arrangement that I have now was really a joint effort to appease everyone's needs in the situation. So that was a reevaluation that I had to have. And now I just really don't have any of those previous stressors. And then when I do, they're so tiny and they disappear so fast. So we really just need to get good at acknowledging what's not working anymore, but we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater or whatever that saying is, but is there anything that can be shifted? Is there a conversation that needs to be had? Are there just a few little tweaks that could be made that would change everything for you? It could be working remote 1 or 2 days a week, or working for a different supervisor, or changing your role. For those of you in a more traditional workplace, I do have a blog on my website, 6 ways to shift into a more aligned career without leaving your current job. There are some great tips on there on how to make those tweaks, like how to ask for those things, because we don't necessarily need a new workplace. We just maybe need to refine how we're working in our current one. So it's really just designed to give you some things to think about and to get out of that, this or that thinking. I mean, we really can do a lot to tweak our own energy and our own circumstances without having to make these drastic changes for our life. So I'll throw that link in the description box below. Okay, anyways, when we talk about protecting our energy though, it's not just about avoiding burnout. It's about showing up fully present and empowered, whether we're navigating coworker dynamics or managing our own business. Prioritizing your energy is going to go a really long way, guys, in helping you overcome those feelings of self-doubt, that imposter syndrome. I promise you, you will show up differently for life when your energy is in check. So just pay attention to how different the world looks and how other people interact with you when you show up in calm, confident energy. It's night and day. If you want some help changing how you show up in the workplace or in your own business, be sure to check out my one-on-one coaching. This is specifically for empaths, highly sensitive people. Together, we're going to navigate workplace dynamics and conflicts. We're going to create action plans to move forward in your career, and then to make sure that you're communicating your value really confidently and authentically. So I'm pulling in not just, years of experience as an empath in the workplace and owning my own business, but also 20 years in marketing and PR. So we're really going to make sure you're positioning yourself perfectly for whatever that next step is for you. And I want that to be in a way that feels really natural and empowering for you. I take on roughly 8 coaching clients each quarter. You can check that out in the description box below. If you have questions about this video, about any of the videos in this series, I'd love to hear from you. So please feel free to chat with me in the comments below. I'd love to connect with you there. All right, guys, until next time.